So I'm testing out a new tent tonight. It's new to me, it's not new to the market. It's been out about a year I think now, but it's one that I've always been very interested in trying, and now I've got the chance. So I was contacted by the manufacturers of this tent, and they'd seen videos that I've done on other versions of their tents and said, would you like to try this out? And also, we've got a new little gadget that could resolve some of the possible issues that were come across on the previous tents, which will help strengthen them and allow you to use them in a lot more diverse weather conditions. So they sent it out to me, as well as the tent. Now we all like camping gear and camping gadgets. And this little gadget I think is incredibly simple, which I like. Simple gadgets are the best. And it's something that not only will improve this tent and other tents in their range, but probably a lot of other tent manufacturers who use a similar sort of tent pole setup. So once I get the tent set up, I'll show you what it is. So this is the Shell 2 tent from 3FUL. Now I have taken it out of the normal roll bag that you get with 3FUL tents. I just don't like them. I prefer a stuff sack. Trying to roll a tent up in gale force winds and get it into one of those bags, I find a nightmare. But this is how it comes normally when it's fully packed in their bags. So I've shoved it into a 5 litre pack, but I haven't stuffed it in. This was when it was rolled up, so I can get this smaller than it is. And as I said, there have been a few videos out on this tent already, so I'm not the first person to show you it, but if you're not aware of it, it's essentially a 2-person single pole tunnel tent that uses trekking poles at either end, very similar to the NRAM. And I've always liked the design, certainly because it's upright at the far ends, so there's no concerns about me fitting in it. I know if the floor is 2.3 metres, I've got loads of space, whereas if the floor is 2.3 metres and then tapers like that, it's guesswork. Now the tent on its own with the poles, so it's sort of bare minimum, comes in just under 1.5 kilos, which is not bad for a 2-person tent, but you do have to use trekking poles. I'd be very interested to hear from you guys. Do you use trekking poles all the time? Do you never use trekking poles? Do you just bring them out when you've got a trekking pole tent? Historically, I used to only bring trekking poles out when I had a trekking pole tent. Now, getting older, knees are getting more painful, back is as well. I use trekking poles all the time. I just find them a great advantage. So whether I've got a trekking pole tent or not, I always bring my trekking poles with me. So tell me below if you do as well. Now after my 3FUL tie hang tent test that I did in the wind, it's a good tent, tunnel tent. 3FUL gear have approached me and said, look, we've come up with a new design, something can be added to existing tents. So you haven't got to go and buy yourself a new tent. This is something you could get from them and strengthen your tent considerably in bad winds. So I'll just quickly pop it up on a time lapse. I won't go through all the details. As I say, there's been other reviews on this tent before, just so you can see it, and I'll show you what it's like after I've got it up. That's what she said. Okay, so that is the fly up. This tent does come with the fly separate from the inner. So first time round, you do have to attach it. Bit of a faff, being my first go. It's one of those things where when you've done it once or twice, you get used to it. It's a bit slack there. I'm pulling this as far as I can, pulling this as tight as I can. I'll try and put this out more of an angle. That's a little bit better. So as I say, it's very similar to the end round. You've got an upright pole at each end, which gives you foot and head room. So I'm just going to show you the inside before I set it up, because this would make an awesome tarp shelter. Perfectly fitting footprint. Goes out into the vestibules. Don't know if you can see that. Foot above my head. And loads of length. I'm still on the footprint. Okay, so a little tip with this tent. When I set it up, I thought the inner was a bit baggy. So I had the guy out cords, which are elastic, doubled over. But once you've done one side, it was too tight to do the other side. So I've had to use 4 additional pegs. So I was hoping to attach it to the pegs for the tent and the footprint. But I've had to use another one on each corner, which is a bit annoying. But I think if you cut the cord down to half the length that it is, or just under, it would work. Because being folded over double loses its elasticity. It loses its elasticity. Blah, blah, blah. So it can't quite reach the peg for the tent. I've also on the inner, this was too low at the back, and to lift it up and tighten it, I would end up raising the floor of the tent up higher, which I didn't want to do. So I have taken the loop that was in here, tied it in a knot, and then attached it. That has made quite a big difference to the interior of the tent now. So what I love about this tent is you've got a partially covered vestibule, which is great because you can still put your muddy boots on the grass if you don't want to get that dirty. Onto the full vestibule, obviously you've got to put your boots on your footprint. So this gives you somewhere to store gear, keep it dry. Obviously you've got the same on the other side, so it's double. The only downside is both the doors in this tent face the same way. So if the wind were to change in the opposite direction, swapping over to the other side, you still have the wind coming in, but I'm facing that way into the wind, so this covers my vestibule. Inside now, it's nice and tight. You've got a pocket here and one at the other end. There's no side pockets on this, which is a shame. The internal length from head to foot is 215 centimetres, but because the end walls are vertical, that is a full usable 215, so plenty for me. It's 120 centimetres wide, so you could fit 2 60 centimetre mats. The corners do come in a little bit, but I think your shoulders will be there, head in the middle. Probably be alright. It'd be a squeeze for 2 people, but at least you've got 2 full vestibules where you can put your gear outside. The internal height is 110, so I'm not on my mat at the moment, but I've got 8 inches. No, I've got a good 6 inches above my head. Plenty of space. Well, so by now you might be wondering what the hell this gadget is. So basically these tents have one pole. Now if you look at Hillebergs or Fjordhaven, you can double pole them, and they have a captive sleeve at one end, and at the other end they have a cup that is big enough to take 2 poles. These tents don't though. Similar to the X-Dome and many other tents like this, Nature Hike, 3FUL, etc, etc, they have a single clip here that you can put the pole into, and that's it. So what this is designed to do is very simply, I'm not going to set it up here now, but you put this, can't do it one-handed, so what you do is you hook it around this strap, then you put one pole in here, second pole in there. You do need to take this string off and tie it to that, so that gives it the tension, because at the moment it's just attached to the bottom one. But then you can double pole this tent. Now bearing in mind this tent is only 1500 grams, just under. Now if you buy a second pole, it only weighs 245 grams. So suddenly for less than 1750 grams, you've got a pretty strong 2-person tent. Yes, it does need trekking poles, but as I said before, I bring them out with me all the time, so it's not a major problem. But you can use these feet on any tent that's got that same sort of pole end to it, so they can attach to the strap, and you can attach 2 poles in any tent you've got. So I think this little tiny little simple thing can make a big difference to any tent that has that sort of pole end that would work with it, and it will double the strength of the poles in your tent. Okay, so skip forward to tomorrow morning. I wanted to sleep last night with one pole, although there wasn't really any wind, just to try it out, but I'm going to put the second pole in now just to test it. So single pole, bit of flex there, but it's pretty strong. I've tensioned it all up, so the actual tent itself is fairly tight. There's a loose panel here, which I think you can't get around really. But yeah, I'll put the second pole in now and see what difference it makes. Okay, so that literally took about 2 minutes. So all I did was I disconnected the first pole, dropped the tent down, so let the pole slide out, connected the double foot connector there, slid the other pole in, pushed it back up, clipped it in, and did the same on the other side. So now that is considerably stronger from the sideways force. That's pretty solid. So yeah, if you really want to bolster this tent, spare pole, 245 grams, double clip foot, and away you go. Now, Onetigris have contacted me and they sent me out a new pump they brought out called the Eco Arc. I mentioned this on my last video with a hammock camp, and you know, I've got loads of pumps with lamps attached to them. One of the things I love about 3FUL tents, they don't have a loop, they have an actual hook. So you can just hang it without worrying about needing a carabiner, which is so much easier. So yeah, it seems like a pretty decent pump, but a really, really nice lantern. The whole bottom part lights up. So rather than it being like a circle of light, it's a full square light, and it's quite bright. But it looks really, really nice. I'm going to pump up my Nortent Torv 7, which is huge. I'll do it, I'll time it, and just see how long it takes for this little pump to work. And then I'm going to use this throughout the night, hang inside my tent. Now they've also sent me out their new pillow, which is the Airdream pillow. And it looks quite nice. One of the things I did say to them was that I probably wouldn't use it because it hasn't got a strap on the back of it. And because I sleep with a quilt, I don't use a sleeping bag to put a pillow inside. I need a pillow that will attach to the mat. But they said they are bringing out basically a pillowcase. So it goes over this and goes over your mat. So they are going to be sending it out to me. So I will try it properly then, but I'll just show you it. For now, you get a repair patch with it. A little strap. And it's got a nice sort of thick padding on one side. It's 110 grams, it's not the lightest thing in the world. The only thing I have found is blowing up that thing, the inflator valve is absolutely tiny. Normally with one of these, 2 breaths would be tops for me. Because of this tiny little hole, in comparison to my finger, it takes forever. I'm going to see if there's an adapter. Annoyingly, there isn't a small adapter to fit in here, but I will try just holding it against it. I see people pump pillows up using an electric pump. I think, how ridiculous. It's like 2 breaths. Yeah, it's not easy. And the other thing I found is, just a little bit of advice for Onetigris, don't put the valve at the top in the middle. The valve should be at one end. So then when you deflate it, you roll it, and you roll it up into that end, it blows all the air out. When it's in the middle here, you don't naturally roll a mat that way. A sleeping pillow, you roll it from end to end, you tend to fold it and then roll it, and that blows all the air out. When it's in the middle here, you start rolling it at one end, it pushes all the air to the other end. So if you start at that end, it pushes it to the other end. Bit of a pain. But it's got like a really nice foam dimple effect on here. Now, no doubt it will be comfortable, but it's just not going to work on my quilt because I will be doing that all night long. So yeah, Airdream pillow. Nice in theory, but just put a strap on it. Hopefully they'll get me the pillowcase cover for it soon, and then I will test it out properly. The only downside to this is you cannot put anything inside it like I do my down jacket, which brings me on to my next pillow, which is what I'm so looking forward to using tonight. This is the Trekology Aloft Ultra. A bit of a bigger pack size than my Flextail, but still, you know, pretty small. Weighs about 100 grams more. I think it's 240 grams, 250 grams. I don't really care about that when it comes to comfort. But this thing, with my down jacket hack of putting it inside on the top of the bladder, feels absolutely amazing. I'm going to try it tonight, and I'm sadly excited for it. Okay, let's see how long this thing takes. I'm really not fussed about how long it takes to pump up, just as long as it does the job. Right. Start. .28 seconds. That is pretty good for a mat this size. It's firm enough to sleep on. I'm impressed with this. I do like this. And I will use it tonight, as I say, in my tent as my lantern. Now with these 3FUL tent you also get 10 pegs. They are these, I don't use these, I use my Eastern Nanos, but you get 10 of those, which is enough in theory to take it all out. And what's quite nice is you also get a pole repair sleeve, so if you damage a pole, and then obviously your normal repair kit that you get with most of their tents. So I think for the price and the weight of this tent, it's a decent two-person tent, and it's an excellent one-person tent. There is a discount that you can get if you order. I will put my discount code direct through 3FUL, and obviously you'll find them from the manufacturer as opposed to AliExpress or an online dealer if you don't trust them as much, but you can use that code for, I believe, anything on the 3FUL website, but I'll put those details in the description below. Now, if you come to this video because you like camping gadgets and gizmos and things that can make your life better, or that you just like perving over gear and gadgets, then if you're not subscribed, do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because I've got some stuff coming through that I've not seen before, and it's really quite interesting new camp gear. I'm just waiting for that to come out to me. So yeah, if you're interested in that sort of thing, then do think about subscribing and hitting the like button as well, because that helps promote the video and pushes me out to other people, and it doesn't cost you anything. So there's one thing that's annoying me about this tent, and that is the inside door. That's as tight as I can get it. It's incredibly small. If it had two toggles on here, it would make life a lot easier, but this, every time you get in and out, you just pull that and it becomes looser and it sags. The door being made bigger would be nice. Maybe even a toggle attached to the outside to pull the door back, or the inside. Anything like that would work. Lovely big space. The same size as the outer door, but this is just really annoying. Obviously this is the fall season inner, so the majority of the tent is pretty much all solid, but there is a small section of mesh above each door, and then one at each end where the air vents are, so you should get okay airflow through, ideally in some wind. We've got 0 wind tonight. It might be 5 miles an hour later on. You can choose a 3-season mesh inner, obviously, if you prefer that. But I like the tent. It's nice. There's plenty of space. I'll show you me laying down in it in a second. I was just about to say, because I'm enjoying my beer, and a fly landed on the top of it. I went to flick it off, and he fell straight inside. It's my only beer. Nope, that wasn't him. Sure, I'll get to him in a bit. So to show you the difference in size, this is the Trekology Ultra pillow. I bought this for my own money, they didn't send it to me. I just fancied a bigger pillow than the Flextail one that I've got, and I haven't tried this out at camp yet, tested it out at home. It's huge, it's so big, it's unbelievable. So I think this is going to be my go-to comfy pillow, but just to show you how quick I can pump this up in comparison to the Onetigris one, and it's huge, remember that. Four pumps, what, 15 seconds, and it's massive. I'm going to put my down jacket in here and I'll show you what it's like, and I'll show you what the length of this tent is like, with the biggest pillow in the world and my head on it. So the weather forecast said rain all the way up to about 6 o'clock, and then it stops raining. It is currently 20 past 6 and it's just started raining, so the complete opposite. Now normally of an evening it's cold and I'm wearing my down jacket. I generally always take a down jacket, maybe not in deepest summer, that one day of the year we get, but 99% of the time I'll bring a down jacket along, weighs nothing, stuffs into my bag, and then at night time I will take it off and I do this with my pillow. So this is the advantage of ones with a washable outer, where you can actually take the bladder out. Now I've done a short on this. The inside of this pillow's got this sort of a soft fill, but take your down jacket, shove it inside between the bladder and the face of the pillow. And once you've done this, you might need to jiggle it about a bit to get it nice and comfy and in the right position for you. So sort of spread it out a bit. Put the bladder back in on top of your jacket. So this is the back of the pillow, and then re-inflate it to whatever thick and firmness you prefer. So to give you an idea, I've inflated that completely. Now this pillow, it's as big as my pillow at home. It is, I don't know, 6 inches thick now. But you've got a down cover or a down topper, so it's really soft and comfy. You're not against the bladder, and obviously you've still got the strap. So I'll put this on my sleep mat now, and I'll show you what it's like with me laying on it. So hopefully, as you can see, my feet are on the end of the mat, a good 8 inches away from the end of the tent, and me laying on my mat with my humongous pillow, and even my hat, it's not really touching the inner. There's tons of space here for me. This pillow is so comfy, it's huge. And my issue is I'm a side sleeper, so I tend not to get the height on a pillow for my neck. And this is just massive. I'm looking forward to tonight. When I finally get a night where I don't wake up in the middle of the night with numb shoulders and numb arms because of the pillow, I think that's what generally causes the problem with me. Comfy. Good morning. Not really. It's about 8:45. I fell asleep. So I've had about 2 hours of very comfy sleep on this pillow. It's very nice. I do like it. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock now, so I probably should get some food on. But sitting here, I'm quite impressed with the size of this vestibule. It's absolutely huge. And not only that, the tent fly comes right down to the ground. It really does cover it very, very well. Before I went to bed, I thought I'd show you the light in here. This is on its lowest setting, which is, you know, more than enough light. But then the next level goes to there, and then the next level is really bright. It is a really, really bright light on the main one. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with this. It's a nice size. It feels really good quality. The pump's very powerful, obviously, as you saw. It pumped this thing up in 40 odd seconds. But yeah, the light, it's too bright. That's better. Medium. More than enough. Yeah, it's pretty good. As I do with anything that I review, I'll put a link in the description below if you do want to buy it. But yeah, I'm impressed with that. If you haven't got a pump, have a look at the Onetigris. Right, I've had my dinner. I've just been chilling out in the tent and quite enjoying it, actually. It's a nice space to be in. It is a good size. One thing that has brought to light, though, is something I like about the vestibule, and I also don't like it. And I'll show you it and I'll tell you about it in the morning. It's weird, but it's about 10 o'clock now, so I'm going to enjoy my massive pillow and hopefully get a good night's sleep. I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. Well, the pillow, it's incredibly comfortable, but I'm still waking up with numb hands and numb shoulders. Any ideas, anybody? I don't know. Yeah, it's driving me mad. I've got the mat relatively soft so I can sink into it, so it's not like it's crushing my shoulders. I don't know what's going on. It looks like a beautiful morning. It's 6:30 now, the sun is up. I'll go and take a look at it, and I'll show you the issue, what I like about this vestibule door and what I don't like about the vestibule door. So most of these doors tend to unzip from there in the middle, straight at the top. But this one unzips from that very far corner. Bearing in mind I've got pretty long arms, the condensation in here is soaking. I can just about reach that. Which is quite annoying. But with the door being rolled up into the centre pole, I do think the actual access works better, and it keeps this line here tighter because you haven't got the weight of the door rolled onto the side panel, which can then hang down a bit. So I like it, but it's a long old stretch to get down to that corner. So as you can see, the tent is soaked with dew. It was a bit flappy last night. You can see it flapping there. I don't think I got it set up 100% perfect, to be honest. Bit of a learning curve, I think, with this tent. Beautiful morning. Probably can't see it, but down there there's not a cloud inversion, but there's a low-lying mist. If you can see those wind turbines over there sticking out through the top of the mist. I'm going to zip the door up and see how tight it looks without me tensioning it after it's got wet overnight. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. I haven't tensioned it at all. Don't know how much movement there is on the tensioners. Yeah, can move a little bit. It's an incredibly wide tent. Obviously those massive vestibules. But yeah, I like it. It's a nice tent, lots of space inside. It's comfortable. Huge vestibules. It's easily good for 2 people, not a problem. These are my favourite moments on wild camps. Beautiful morning, just the birds singing, peace and quiet, and a good coffee. You can't beat this. So as I said before, if you like gadgets or just simple little things like that that can really make a difference and help in a camp, I've got a few more things that are coming that look quite interesting. So if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. And if you did like this video, please hit the thumbs up. I'm going to head off now. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all on the next one.